Hi, I just wanted to record a short video to talk about this source and the quiz that you did, and just go over the answers for things. Just seemed like it was easier than trying to write it up for you. Okay, well, the questions were scrambled for everybody, but the first question I have here: what is the date or time period of this source? Actually, a little bit complicated. Probably the best thing to put would be 1553, which is the date you see right here. Okay. The second part of the source is 1554-55. But what you find out as you read down here is that those are the dates that the voyages took place. It was actually published in 1598 to 1600. Okay. So as far as the quiz goes, I would accept any of those, or if you said 16th century. All right? Or mid 16th century or something like that. That's fine too. All right. Second question. Which of the following was not one of the points learned from the English at Benin reading? That Africans extended credit to European traders. That's not true because we see that in the source. The Europeans came to West Africa in the 16th century to find pepper. Well, that's not the answer either, because that is also true. That the English in the 16th century came to Benin for the slave trade. Well, that's not in the source either, because there's nothing in here about the slave trade. That leaves the final one, that African kings. Sorry, wait a minute. I mixed myself up here. Which of the following was not one of the points? And it's the third one. The English came to Benin for the slave trade, because there's nothing in the source about that. Sorry. Finally, the last one was that African kings controlled trade between their states and Europeans, and we certainly see that in the source. Okay, so the answer you should have had to get the points was that the English came for the slave trade. That's not one of the things we see in this document. Okay, question 3. What language did the king of Benin use to speak with the merchants? And that you see up at the top here. And it talks about the king. It says he himself could speak the Portugal tongue, which he had learned of a child. So the Portugal tongue being Portuguese. And some of you a little bit confused here. It said they answered by Penteado. Penteado, if you go over to the beginning over here, was the captain of the ship. Penteado, Francisco a Portugale. Francisco Penteado was a Portuguese guy. This is the English at Benin. The English merchants are going to Benin, but they don't know how to get there or anything, so they hire this Portuguese captain to take them over there. The Portuguese have been trading along the coast here for 100 or so years. That's why the king of Benin speaks Portuguese, right? He's learned Portuguese so that he can speak with the traders. Notice, of course, it's the Europeans are not learning African languages, right? Okay, it's anyway. So the answer there is Portugal or Portuguese. Question 4. At the end of the source is a story about the English stealing something from people in West Africa. What did they steal? And that is in the final paragraph of the source right here. One of them either stole a musk cat or took her away by force. Okay? Well, what's a muscat? Some people thought it was a musket, which is a type of firearm. No, it's actually a cat. It's about 2-3 feet long. It's a type of cat that produces musk. It's also known as a civet cat, civet. Musk was a very valuable thing back in the day, still is, and it was used as the basis for perfume. So the English stole this cat, and then nobody else along the coast would trade with them unless they either restored it, paid for her, or paid for the full price for it. And once again, a good example there of how Africans are regulating the trade. Okay, final question is the one most people got wrong. I think only 3 of you got it quite right. How much pepper did the people of Benin gather to sell to the English? What does that equal in pounds? Okay, let's go up here. The question was, how much pepper did the people of Benin gather? Okay, most of you said 30 or 40 quintals of pepper. Well, that's not quite right. That's the king having of old lying in a certain storehouse, 30 or 40 quintals of pepper. Okay, so that's just what he's got lying around. But you continue on. The king sent the country round about to gather pepper, causing the same to be brought to the court, so that within the space of 30 days they had gathered 80 tons of pepper. All right. How much is that in pounds? Well, first you need to know what's 80, and you can Google that and find out 80 is 80. Or if you went to high school in Illinois and learned the Gettysburg Address, it starts out 7 years ago. Okay, 80 is 80. So this is 80 tons of pepper. How much is a ton? Well, actually, back in the day, a ton was 2,240 pounds. I don't expect you to know that, but you should know a ton is usually nowadays 2,000 pounds. So 80 tons would be 160,000 pounds of pepper. Okay? A lot of pepper. Okay? That's why the king says to the English, in case their merchandises could not extend to the value of so much pepper, he promised to credit them to their next return. So as he's extending credit to the English, saying, if you don't have enough goods, that's okay. Pay me next time. All right? Okay. So those were the answers for the quiz. And if you didn't get them all right, this is an excellent lesson in learning to read these documents very carefully. If there's things you don't understand, you can look them up or you can ask me. I don't think anybody asked a question about this document in the online discussion board. So if you read something you don't understand, ask, or you can Google things like 80 or how much is a ton and what's a musk cat. I just Googled that now to see if it's there, and sure enough, it shows up. Okay, so you read things you don't understand, you need to ask questions. Okay, look them up, ask me, do something like that. All right, okay, thank you very much.